Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to round a number. We have 14,567. We're going to round it to four different place values here. What we want to do is find out which number for that place value is that number closest to. So, if we have tens, you would be counting by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 10, 20, 30. That's how it goes. So what we do is we took 14,500 and then we replaced the 6 with all the different tens that we have. So we have 50, 60, and 70. And we want to do is see which one is it closest to. So I've put an approximation here. We have 14,567. Well, I know that right here, that's 14,565. So we know that it has to be above. It has, because it's 67, so it has to be above the 65. That's the halfway. Between 60 and 70, we get 65 dead center. So you can see that this one is closest to 14,570, and that's what rounding is. We want to see for that place value, the tens, which number is it closest to. So if you have 14,567, now we're doing rounding to the nearest hundreds. So that's why I've underlined the hundreds place. And for hundreds, it's 14,400, 14,500, 14,600. Okay, and then we know also, if we know our numbers, that's 14,550, because 550 is between 500 and 600. And that's why I have 567 right here. 14,567. So as you can see, it's also closer to the top one, 14,600. It's closer to 14,600. Not 14,500. And if you kind of want to look at it, if you just come up over here and you just cover it, you have 567. Well, you know 567 is closest to 600, so that's why we're going to 600. But you still have to keep the 14,000 because, I mean, just think of it like money. Someone says, oh, 14,567, I'll give you 600 bucks for that. That's about the same. No, it's about 14,600. So you want to keep it. You have to keep all that stuff in the front. It's just that place value you're looking at. Alright, so now we're in thousands. And again, 14,000, 15,000. So right in the middle will be 14,500. And this is 14,567. So again, closer to 15,000. If you notice, all we're doing is placing, if we're doing the tens, we're placing a 5 right after the tens. That's the midpoint. So if we did the hundreds, we place a 5 right after that. That's the midpoint. We're now in the thousands, we place a 5 right after it. This number right here is our middle number. That's what's telling us what to do. Alright, so let's look at the next one. 10,000s now. So it's 0, 10,000, 20,000. We're at 14,000. So in between 10 and 20 would be 15,000. That's our dead middle. 14,567. I just put that in the wrong place. Right there would be 15,000. Alright, and then so right in the middle would be 15,000. So our 4, 5, 6, 7 is below, which means this is closer to 10,000 because the halfway point is 15,000 and we're not quite at the halfway point. So 14,567 is closer to 10,000 than it is to 20,000. So that's what we round. If you round to the nearest 10, it should say 10,000. And if you look at each of these, whatever you're rounding to, that's what you need to have as our last number that's non-zero, last possible. There are exceptions later on, but for right now, you want to just focus on that. If you're in tens, you don't want to have anything in the ones place. It needs to say 70, 80, 90, 100, because it's tens. And if it's hundreds, it needs to say 100. 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 900. You could even do 1,000, but it needs to have that 900 and then 1,000, but it has to end in 100. Same with thousands. It should say 13,000, 14,000, 15,000. The number should say the place value when you finish it. Alright? Again, there's one little exception, which we'll get to. Alright. So here's the steps for rounding it. We just saw that it's that 5 right after it, and that's our little spot right there. So what we do is, if you want to round to the nearest 100, first thing you do is find the hundreds place and you put an underline. This is the number we are rounding to. So it's either going to be 700 or we could go up to 800, because 725 is between 700 and 800. So it's either going to be 700 or it's going to be 800. Our answer would be 6,700 or 6,800. Okay. So what we do is use that number to the right. That's called our test digit right here. And we already know the halfway point is at the 5. So that's what we say. If the test digit is 5 or more, then that 7 is going to increase to an 8. If our test digit, the one that's got the little gray box around it, is 4 or less, then that 7 is going to stay the same. Because looking at it, you have 725. Is 725 closer to 700 or is it closer to 800? It's closer to 700. So that means we leave that 7 alone. It's got to stay as 700, and then everything to the right becomes 0 because we want it to say 6,700 because we are rounding to the nearest 100. Alright? There is one little point when it's not going to. Like, let's just say that we had 3,958, and then we'll also do the nearest 100. So you underline the 9, circle the 5. Okay, so that is 5 or more, which means we're past that halfway point. So we have to round this one up. So what's 9 plus 1? It's 10, which means you have to carry that 1, which gives us 4,000. That would be it rounded to the nearest 100. And I mean, looking at our answer, you have 3,958. It's closest to 4,000. Just think of it like money. You have $3,958. Is it closest to 3,900 or is it closest to the next thing up, which is 4,000? Because if you have 3,900, 3,958 is our number that we're looking at. And then the one above that would have to be 4,000 if you're counting, right? Well, this is closer to that one. So that is our rounded to the nearest 100.